Hey everybody, welcome to the Bandzoogle webinar, How to Build a Professional Website for Your Music. My name is Allison Sharp and I'm the Education and Event Specialist here at Bandzoogle.
I'm Desi Rotman, I'm on the support team and I co-host these webinars with Allison.
So before we get started, we just want to make sure you guys are connected with us. So if you can go ahead and type in the chat box to the right where you're from, that way we'll know that you guys can see and hear us. So one of the things that we wanted to do is kind of go over a little bit of an outline of what's going to happen today, just so you guys are aware. But before we do that, I just want to make sure that at least one person types in the chat box that they can see and hear us, because we just want to make sure that someone is out there and can see us. Oh, hey, Ian. Okay, Ian's here from the UK, so we know that we are live and ready to go. Vera is from California. I'm in California. So, or is that not? Oh, is that Canada? I don't know. Vera Tabib from Sebastopol. I don't know if it's California or Canada. Sorry. And then we have Paul from BC. So thank you guys for being with us today. What we're going to do today is we're going to go over a slideshow presentation that's just going to talk about Bandzoogle. Everybody on this webinar should be a free trial member or recently upgraded, but most likely on a free trial. So you may have some questions during the webinar. Even during the slideshow, you can go ahead and type out your questions in the chat box to the right, and Desi will be in the background just answering questions. During the webinar, as I'm sharing slides, I won't be able to see your questions, but Desi will. So feel free to go ahead and type away. And then once we get through the slideshow presentation, we're going to go through just building a sample website, just so you guys can see kind of a little bit more of the process. I'm sure you guys have already started or already finished building your website, but just in case you have any questions or you weren't sure on how to do certain things, I'm going to go ahead and do a few things how to build a website from scratch. Hey, Paul. Okay, so Canada. Sorry about that. And Vera says California. And hello, Robert. So also, I'm going to be going pretty quickly through the slideshow just so we can have more time to build the website from scratch. But we will have a replay of this webinar later that we'll send out by email. So stay tuned for that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. So give me just 1 second. Okay, Desi, can you see that?
Looks great.
Thank you. Okay, so what is Bandzoogle? So everyone on this webinar is a member of Bandzoogle, and you guys are usually going to be in the free trial. And like I said, you know, you can go ahead and continue building your site, but this is just going to be a few tips on how to do certain things. So Bandzoogle is a website and direct-to-fan marketing platform. We make it easy to build a website for your music, no coding needed, so feel free to build everything. It's point and click. Some of the features include a free domain. Once you register to be a paid plan member, you'll get a free domain, and we also have fast and reliable cloud hosting. So since Bandzoogle was made for musicians by musicians, we do offer built-in music players. These music players allow you to stream. You can offer free downloads. All of our e-commerce features, you can sell commission-free. You can set a price or have your fans pay what they want. There's a lot of different options in our music players, and we do have a couple different options in terms of having them page by page, or we even have a site-wide music player that continues to play while your fans or visitors navigate your website. We have a built-in calendar. It's called our events feature. You can sell tickets commission-free. You can add custom images. So if you have show posters, you can upload those. Events are shareable, and you can set recurring events. So if you have a gig, say every Saturday night, you can set that up. And then we also have Bands in Town integration. So if you're already set up with Bands in Town, it's very easy to link those together, and all those dates will automatically show up on your website. Another unique feature to Bandzoogle is our built-in mailing list. A lot of different site builders, they do give the option to use a mailing list, but they have you go grab a mailing list feature from another company. So you can certainly do that if you're already set up with, say, MailChimp or something like that. But we give you the option just to use our built-in one, and there's no additional cost for that. It allows you to send professional email newsletters. You can schedule emails for later. We give you detailed reports, and then it's very easy to import and export. So if you have a list that's already been set up somewhere else, you can easily import that into our system. In addition to our music players where you can sell your digital downloads, we also offer a commission-free store. This will allow you to sell things like CDs, vinyl records, t-shirts, any kind of band merch that you'd like. With our Pro plan, you can also sell digital files like sheet music and videos, and you can also set up discount codes or sale pricing. We also offer automatic inventory tracking, so if you have a limited supply of something, you can set that up as well. To date, all of our members have sold over $25 million in commission-free sales and counting. We have not taken a cut of any of those sales. With Bandzoogle, if you go to the Edit Theme tab, you'll get to see all of our themes. We have over 100. They're all mobile ready, so that means that you only have to design your site one time, and it's going to scale down to any screen size your visitor is viewing from. Once you choose a theme, there's a lot more that you can do with it because we have a customization option in the Edit Theme tab. You can change things like fonts, colors, placement, filters, and different things like that. We also offer detailed fan data. This is really important because this is where you can check and see how many visitors you're getting, what pages they're staying on, what songs they're playing in full, what songs they're skipping, and stuff like that. You can find that in the Reports tab. You can either use the one that comes with Bandzoogle, or you can set it up with Google Analytics pretty quick and easy, and that's going to give you even more data as well. We also have a lot of built-in features that allow you to connect to all your other services, so Instagram, Twitter, SoundCloud, YouTube. Those are easy to add if you go to the Edit Content tab and then click Add Feature. We offer musician-friendly support. We do that 7 days a week, and that's through email and live chat. That way that we will always have a record of all of your questions or issues. We can always reference back to them at any time. All of our support team members are either musicians, former musicians, married to musicians, something in the arts or entertainment. So we really get it, and we really try to help you get your website the way you want it. So once you get through your free trial, take your time and really build out the way that you'd like. But once you get to the part where you're ready to upgrade, you'll get an option of 3 different plans. Our most popular plan is our standard plan. That's going to give you 20 pages, 50 tracks, 500 photos, 1,000 mailing list members. All of our plans give you a free domain name once you upgrade. Now, if you want all the bells and whistles, you would want to go with our Pro plan. That's going to give you a lot more e-commerce features, such as, selling those tickets and setting up download codes. It's also going to allow you to use our SoundScan reporting, which can help you track your sales for Billboard charts. So a lot of times we get the question, why can't I just use social media? And social media is really awesome. It's great. You should be using social media to promote your music, but you always want to have your own website. The first reason is that you own the address. You're guaranteed to own a little slice of the internet that's just your own. If you think back to, for example, MySpace. It was really popular several years back. Everybody was on it, but once it started to go downhill, everybody was jumping ship, going to other social medias. And there wasn't really a way for you to stay in touch with those fans and friends unless you found them on a new social media platform. So having your own website, that will allow you to get them to your site, sign up to your mailing list, and you'll always be able to stay in touch with them. Number 2 is that you own the experience. I'm sure you guys have noticed the major increase in ads and distractions on all social medias. Even sites like Instagram, where you scroll through, there's always these different ads and sponsored posts, and it can be really annoying. So with your own website, you can keep it fresh and clean. You don't have to worry about all the distractions. Number 3 is you own the data. You're going to get to know where your fans are from, what site brought them there. And then you also earn more money by selling directly from your site because, again, we don't take a cut of any of your sales. So another important thing, like I mentioned, is getting people to your site to sign up to your mailing list. This is the way that you're going to keep in touch with your fans through the long haul. So 4 reasons to have a mailing list. Number 1 is that you own it. Like I mentioned, with social media, you don't own those fans or followers. So when you have your own mailing list, you get to take the database with you wherever you go. Number 2 is the ultimate permission marketing. If somebody signs up to your mailing list, you know they want to hear from you. So that way you'll be able to send your mail outs and newsletters with ease. You won't have to worry about if they really want to know what's going on with you. Number 3, it's the best way to sell. Email marketing is 40 times as effective as Facebook and Twitter combined. So you always want to get people to your site to, buy your albums and CDs and different things like that. And then number 4, it's the best way to stay in touch with your fans. So an email list is an artist retirement plan, meaning that, you know, if they're on your list and say 5 years from now, they're still on your list, you can still tell them about new albums and tours. That way you're always going to have a way to make money with your list. So who is your website's audience? The first one is your potential fans. These are fans that don't really know about you yet. They may have heard about you from friends. They may have seen you in a blog article or something like that. They don't really know who you are. So if they hit your site, you're going to want to know, they're going to want to know what your story is. So you're going to want to put your best songs and videos up front. You're going to also want to get them on your mailing list again. The second audience is your current fans. So you're going to want to make your website stand out with what's new and what's everything that's going on with your music. You're going to want to add some blog posts or photo galleries and keep that updated so people know that you're active. You can also give your current fans limited edition products, package deals, and things like that, just to make them know that you're really grateful to have them as fans. And then again, getting them on your mailing list. You can do that by giving them some free music or some exclusive content just as a thank you for being dedicated to you as a musician. And then the third audience that's generally overlooked is the industry and media. So when you're designing your site, keep this in mind. They're going to also want to know what's new. They're going to especially want to know what makes you unique and different. So you're going to want to put your best songs and videos up front. I know I've said this a couple times now, but it's really important because your homepage is the most visited page. So you want to make sure that you have the best right up front. A second page that's really great is to have a press kit page. This is a page that's kind of an at a glance. It tells somebody all about you in one page. So with this, you'll want to have a short bio or your story, some high quality images, again, just a couple of your greatest songs, a video, some press quotes, career highlights, and then a contact info section so that they can get in touch with you. In terms of photos, it's very important to have great photos on your website. It's advised that you spend the extra money to hire a professional to take pictures of you or you and your band. That way, when you set up your website, it's going to really stand out and look professional. Bad photos can really create a negative impression of your music. So you don't want to add, candid photos or, even mobile phone photos. They might look nice on your phone, but once you expand them to be bigger on your website, it may be blurry. In terms of the colors on your website, you're going to want to stick to 3 major colors: a primary brand, contrasting secondary, and then a third accent color, which is going to complement both primary and secondary color. It might be tempting to throw a bunch of colors up on the website, but definitely think about it from the visitor's perspective. You don't want them to get overwhelmed with all the different colors. So you want to just make sure it's very nice and supports your content. In terms of typography, you're going to want to avoid any wacky fonts, things with jagged edges, curly cues, dots, or different lines on there that may look fun, but if it's hard to read your title or your content, it really defeats the purpose. So you want to stay away from those types of fonts or any fonts that look unprofessional. You want to pay attention to the contrast between the font color and background. You want to use center text sparingly, and instead you'll want to use left aligned text where possible. And then in terms of bolds, italics, or caps, you'll want to use those as little as possible. Use that for things like titles and announcements. So it's a mobile world, so you need to have a mobile-friendly website. It's really important because mobile digital media time is now higher compared to desktop. So I'm sure you guys have seen it. Everyone is out and about using their phones to surf the net if they're waiting for an appointment or they're just waiting, just even anywhere at the store, anything, people are always on their phones. So you want to make sure that your website is set up to be mobile ready. So with Bandzoogle sites, they're already set up, they're already optimized for that. It's got to be seamless. People need to be able to find all the same content they would find on a desktop computer, and they still need to be able to buy from your site as well. So whether you use Bandzoogle or not, it doesn't matter, but you just really want to make sure that whoever you use, you do want to make sure that your site is mobile ready and easy to use. Also, Google did a mobile-friendly update. It boosts mobile-friendly pages and search rankings and punishes sites that aren't mobile-friendly. So this is super important, especially for search engine results. In terms of navigation, okay, navigation is the main menu that you see at the top. of your site. This is how people get around to all the pages on your site. So you're going to want to make that very easy, limiting it to roughly 8 buttons or less. You'll want to have one clear purpose per section and keep the name simple in the menu. Don't put long phrases. You just want to put 1 or 2 words like blog, music, shows, or something like that. And then once you get on the actual page, you can get a little bit more creative with the page names. So there's 8 essential sections that are typically on a successful musician website or band website. They're listed here, but we're going to run through them really quickly. The first one is your home page. The home page, again, is the most important page because it's the most visited page. If you don't grab the attention on the home page, you may lose your potential fan or your current fan. So you want to make sure that it stands out. You'll want to have a really great header image, a short little bio that just talks about who you are, where you're from, and what you do. You'd be surprised. You come to some websites and you can't even find out what type of music it is until you get deeper into the website. So it's really important so people know when they hit the home page, they know what type of site it is. You'll want to put your couple songs on the home page, a video. You can add some latest news by adding a blog post, blog feature, I should say, and then social media links so that people know that they can find you on social media as well. Another homepage essential is a call to action. Now, a call to action is the one thing that you want somebody to do when they hit your site. So the number 1 call to action is a mailing list, as we talked about. So you definitely want to have a mailing list sign-up form as high on the page as possible. That's going to get people to get on your list so you can stay in touch with them. Other types of call to actions would be, buy my album, watch this video, or something like that. But you definitely want to direct people to let them know what you'd like them to do once they hit your site. The next page is a bio page. This is where you talk about yourself, but you're going to want to have your bio written in 3rd person. So have somebody write it about you or write it about yourself. But you'll want to have a full bio, a shorter bio, and then a photo or 2, just to make sure that the page is not text heavy. Excuse me. The next page, of course, is a music page. And even though I say, of course, you'd be very surprised with the amount of music sites that we see that don't have music. Now, when somebody comes to your website, they're going to want to know what you sound like. So you want to make sure that you have song samples. You can have your full discography if you have a lot of different albums. Another great option is to add lyrics to your page as well. It's a great thing to have searchable in Google. You can also set it up to have a couple songs downloadable in exchange for an email address. And then on the page, you might want to add a description or some context about the albums or EP. You could say something like, what was your inspiration, or how the album came about, or something like that, just to involve your fans in the behind the scenes a little bit. The 4th page is the shows page. Now, not everybody is actively gigging, so you may not need this page. But if you are doing shows, you'll want to have a calendar of your events, and then always put some live photos or video on the page, just so people can get to know what it's going to be like if they come see you play. The next page is a photos page. A photos page is a great way for people to see your personality. So you want to put your official promo photos, some live photos, and then you can also add your Instagram feed, which is a little bit more personal. And so that way people can see, what you're doing out and about, or if you're touring, or even songwriting process or something like that. A videos page is another great page to add. If you have videos already on YouTube or Vimeo, you can easily embed them into your site. The 7th page is a store page. So with a store, this is where you would sell physical items. You're definitely going to want to have images of all your merch and then a clear way to contact you. And then finally, the contact page is your last page in the menu. And this should include an email custom form that's going to ask for their name, email, and then to add a message so that you know what they're contacting you about. You'll also want to put some social media links on the contact page, and then one more mailing list sign-up form. And this is your last-ditch effort to get them on your list. So you'll want to make sure the last page has that on there. So with Bandzoogle, we definitely recommend that you follow us on at least one of our social media accounts on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, because we do post a lot of updates. We also have a very extensive blog for musicians and entertainers. We post a lot of different articles, so we definitely recommend checking that out. So what we're going to do is I'm going to stop the screen share of the slideshow, and I'm going to jump right over to just the homepage of Bandzoogle. So give me just 1 second. Desi, can you see that?
Looks great.
All right, awesome. Just going to take a sip of water here before we dive right in. Okay, so everyone on this webinar has already set up a site, but we're going to go ahead and just start from the beginning, just to, just so show the process a little bit more. And we do notice that sometimes when you get started, you might just get through this first section here and never get through the initial 3 steps, a site builder. So you just want to get started by doing that, because once you do, you'll get to the main control panel where you'll see all the different options available. Okay, so you're just gonna enter your project name or your artist name, your email, and then a password. If you have a promo code, you would already have known that you have one, and you can enter it there. But for this purpose, we're just going to go ahead and click create your site. So the first thing that you're going to come to is a welcome to Bandzoogle message, and it's going to talk about, going to the next step of picking a theme. Now, we do have a lot of different themes. Even within these themes, we have theme variations. So these are all of our themes. If you scroll down, you'll see all the themes that we have available. But, for example, if you have a different genre that you're in and you want to, narrow it down, you can do that. So if we just go to, say, urban hip hop, you'll see different ways that some of our members have set up their sites. But let's just go back to all themes. And I think I'm going to go ahead and choose, let's see. We'll go ahead and choose this one. So this one right away is going to show you just kind of an idea of what it would look like if you chose this theme. And so I'm happy with this theme for now. So you're just going to click continue with this theme. Now, don't worry, all of these things are editable later on, but this is just the 3-step setup just to get you started. So the next thing is you're going to want to add your own image. So this is a stock image that we just have for all of our members from the very beginning. But you can always change your image. So let's click replace. And then I have some site assets already set up. So we're going to go ahead and just select that. Now, this is going to show me a smaller version of, how it's going to look, just so I can get an idea if I continue on with this theme. You can also drag to position if you'd like, and I like it, so I'm just going to click save. And then the next thing is to set my title or logo. So you have the option. You can either use our title feature, or you can add your own logo instead if you already have one, or you can simply not have a title. If, say, for example, your image was one that had the logo embedded into it, you wouldn't need a title as well. So I do want to use a title. You can change the title font color, but I'm going to go ahead and change the font style. And you can set it to uppercase. And then I like the way it's looking so far. So I'm just going to click view website. So this is, again, just another option to kind of view what it's going to look like. And then I'm ready. So I'm going to click here to start editing. Now we're in the main control panel. You can always get back to this page by clicking the Bandzoogle or the little house icon. This is where you can look at our little video that talks about how to, navigate the control panel. And then you can also edit your content from here, or you can edit your content from here. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I want to go to the edit content tab. This is where you add all your features and different things like that. One of the things that you can do is you can watch our overview of the edit content section, which will give you a little bit of an idea of how it's going to work. But since we're live on the webinar, I'll just go ahead and show you guys here. So a couple things. This is where you can edit your image. You'll see anywhere I move, it's continuing to tell me I can edit my image. If I wanted to edit my image, I could just click on it and then, crop or replace or add more. So with all of our themes, you can add up to 5 images in the header. So let me see if I have one already set up. Let's actually just use a stock photo. Let's just say I wanted to use this as a second image. It's going to, again, allow me to drag. But another cool thing is that in this area, you can, this is what it's going to look like on a desktop device. But I want to see how it's going to look on my tablet. So when I click this, it's going to show me that it's scaled down to be on the tablet. Now, of course, a mobile phone is smaller. So now this piano guy right here who I want to be in the picture is not in the picture. So what I want to do is I want to slide it over so that that's more of the focus. So now on a mobile device, that's going to be the focus. But when I go back to the desktop, it shows me the full image. So I like that. So I'm going to go ahead and save it. So now once I click save, it's going to rotate through the 2 images that I have. Now, again, you can have up to 5 as well. Now, we do have some slideshow settings. You can change the timing of the slideshow to medium, slow, or fast. So I'm going to speed it up just a little bit. Actually, let's see. And then the transition type, I personally like the fade, but let me just show you guys, how you can change it to slide, let's say left. So now what it's going to do is it's going to slide over instead of fade. It's pretty quick, but hopefully you guys saw that. And I'm going to go ahead and save that. Now, like I mentioned before, you always want to have your mailing list sign up form at the top of the page. But what I want to do is I want to have a short message at the top letting people know, what type of site they've gotten to. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit the columns. I want to make this a 2-column layout. And I want to move the mailing list sign up form over to the right. So I'm going to just click this little move arrow and click right here. Add feature. There we go. Now this is over here, and then I want to add a feature right here, which is going to be our text feature. And that way you can, put, your little short bio right there at the top. Now, on the home page, like I mentioned, you're going to want to have some shows, some latest news, some latest tracks. But what I want to do is I want people to see my latest tracks right away. So I want to move this up to the top. I'm going to click New Section. And now we have this this option to add, a feature, and that's where we're going to add our music feature. So in this case, I am going to add an album. I'm going to use the same image. Now this is where you can add a description of the album. And right here you will say you want to allow the download or the sale. And I want to set this to be a fixed price. The album is going to be $10. I can put it on sale if I have the Pro plan. Let's just say I want it to be 20% off. So that way it's going to set the sale price to $8. I can also accept pre-orders. So if I'm not quite ready with the album, but I want to, kind of see or gauge how many people are really going to buy it, then I can go ahead and set pre-orders. Once you do that, you can add your songs as they are getting finished, and then you can release them when you're ready. So if I clicked accept pre-orders, you could set the date of when you want to release it, but you'll come back here and you'll actually release it. But for now, I just want to set it to a fixed price. The album's ready. If you have a pro plan, you can also add your UPC code here for sound scan reporting, and then bonus files will be things like liner notes and images. So I'm just going to click save. This sets my album up, but now I do need to add music to the album because this is simply just, the information about the album. So you want to go to edit music. The first thing you want to do is click payment settings. You do need to have your PayPal address in here before any of our e-commerce solutions will work on the page. You can set your currency and country. You do need to have a business or Premier account with PayPal. These are both free to add, but you do need to have those. So now they're set up. I can go back to my album and I can go ahead and add tracks. I'm going to go ahead and add my one track that I have set up. This is where you can change the preview time. So let's just say I want people to hear 1 minute of it. I want to allow the download, and I want to set it to 99 cents. You can add your ISRC code, which is again part of the sound scan reporting. You can add track notes, you can add your lyrics. ID3 tags are the tags that are kind of behind the scenes in your file that talks about the album name, the artist name, the year it was released, and things like that. Now, we do have the option to share your tracks. When you share them, you can specify if you want them to play the full track or the preview clip. We'll go ahead and say preview clip. So click save. And so now it's going to load our song into this album. So now it's loaded, and we're going to go back to edit content. And this is going to be our home page that's going to load. And now you're going to see, like I mentioned, we have our text feature, we have our mailing list, and now we have our album feature that's here at the top. We also can add some shows, some latest news, or things like that. We already added the latest track. Top, actually, we can move this title. Actually, no, this is a section title, so we can't move that. But what we can do is delete this because we already added the album. Oh, okay. So what I'm going to do is I want to go back and show you guys sections. Okay, so sections allows you to have two different section styles on the page. So in order for us to do this, I want to have this album be a different color than everything else. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the Edit Theme tab. Actually, let's see. I want this to be section style 2. And you can adjust the padding to, like for example, if I hit large, you'll see that this kind of increases, but I just want to keep it with small. You can also set it to no padding, and it's going to bring it right up to the top. But I do like to have a little bit of padding around my feature, so I'm going to do small. I'm not going to add it. I'm actually going to, I'll add a title. So this is the music section. And we can either center that or left align it, but I like it centered. And so I'm going to click save. So now we had chosen for this to be section style 2. So we're going to go over to the Edit Theme tab. The first time you come to the Edit Theme tab, it's going to give you the option to get a little run through, but we're already on here, so we'll go ahead and go with that. I want to scroll down now to section style 2. Now, right now, it's set to have a certain background color. What I want to do is I want to change that background color to be, let's see, we'll use a nice blue just to make it stand out for you so you guys can see. Actually, I'll try to get a light blue. We're going to go ahead and choose that. So now you can see that the music section is in the blue that we just chose. And click Save. Now I want to go back to Edit Content and show you guys something about the sections. So when I chose the music section to be section style 2, the shows was already section style 2. So if I go ahead and click this edit section, I'm going to set this back to section style 1, which is the original white background. So now if I set that and click Save, you'll see that only the music section is in blue because that's section style 2. If you want, excuse me, if you want anything else to be section style 2 in this blue, you would just go ahead and click Edit Section and then choose that to be section style 2 as well. So it might be a little confusing, and if you get stuck, you can always email our support team. We also have a really nice help section that you can go to. We have a video that kind of describes this as well. So if you start playing around with sections and you can't remember, it's a really great option to go to the help section and look through our video. But let's move on because we want to get to a few more things. Let's see. Now, if I go to the music page, you'll see that there's, excuse me, there's a tickle in my throat. You see that I already added the music feature to the home page, but you can also add it again on any other page. You can add as many music features as you like to any page, but let's just say I wanted to have the same exact album on this page. You would just click Add Tracks, click Album, Continue, and then I've already set it up, so now you can just click Use this album. So now if we go back to the music page and just view our site, you'll see that it's already loaded on the page. We'll go back to edit the site. If we want to go and add some photos, you'll just go to the photos page. We do have several different options for adding photos. You can upload up to 20 photos at a time. So let's just go ahead and select these. And then you'll see that they're going to start loading right away. It just takes a little while to get these loaded up, but again, you can do 20 at a time. And then you have different gallery settings. You have tiled view, grid view, or slideshow. I personally like the tiled view. So let's go ahead and view the site and see what the tiled view looks like. So now you see that the photos are all on the page. You can continue adding your photos. You can also add your Instagram feed to this page very easily as well. I also wanted to point out that we do have the built-in mailing list feature. When you come to this page, you will click on a new email campaign. If you want to send a newsletter, you can start with a blank page. You can start with a template. We haven't created any templates, so you can just go ahead and compose the email. And this is where you're going to start entering your content. You can add images. And then you can preview the email. It doesn't look as great right now because it's always good to create a template, because with the template, let me go back and show you. You can go here to email templates and you can design a new template. This allows you to add a header image. You can, change the height and width and zoom. With the page, you can change the page color, the content color. So when we scroll down, you'll see that this content area, you can change it to whatever you'd like. It's really ugly, but I'm just showing you guys. And then the text, you'll have an option for different font styles, sizes, colors, and links. So this is just a test template. So now Let me let that load for a second. Should be available. Let's see. Okay, so when I click start with a template, and then I can click on the one that I just created, now you're going to see that this is the header. It looks a little bit, more set up nicely. Even though I designed it with ugly colors, you can set it up the way you'd like. The other thing I wanted to show you guys is the reports tab. This is set up with Bandzoogle's built-in reports tab. Obviously, I haven't had any visitors to my site, but once I do, you'll start seeing this listed here. If you wanted, you can also set it up with Google Analytics. Once you upgrade to a paid plan, it's going to show you a lot more. But with ours built in, you can just see visitors, plays, sales, fans, and different things like that. So the last thing I want to show you before we go to a quick Q&A session is the Edit Theme tab, because this one has a lot of options, bells and whistles, and different things you can do to really make your website stand out. So with the Edit Theme tab, one of the first things I want to show you is with image filters. So with image, actually, before I do that, I'm going to go back to edit content. I'm going to click edit image. I want to just remove this second image because it's going to be easier for us to work with without it sliding around. So now we're just left with this one image. We're going to click back to edit theme. Okay, there we go. Now with the image filters, these are just like Instagram filters. You can, have different styles to brighten it up. You can even do like black and white, which makes it look completely different, on the page. You can also add more dots. You can add squares, and you can do custom. One of the things before we do custom, let me just go back. I'm going to use natural. Now, you can see right now that this has a dotted overlay. You can take those off, which I'm going to do for this purpose. And now when I go back to image filter and custom, now we have actually more options. You can brighten up the screen. You can have just an overlay, hard light, soft light, and then color burn. That's too dark. So I like the soft light. And I don't want to have the dots. The dots would make it look like this, but I'm going to leave the dots off for now. Now, the title that I have here is pretty large. One of the things that we recommend, like we mentioned before, is keeping your menu to roughly 8 menu buttons or less, and they should always try to stay on one line. For this particular theme, it's kind of okay because the header title is larger, but still, I just want to show you guys that you can change this. So if you bring down the font size and the letter spacing, and let's see if we can make it smaller. Yeah, so now if I want to change it, I can make it like bold, extra bold. But I want it to be light. That way I've made the title a little bit smaller, but the menu fits on one line. Now I want to go down to the menu, and I want to make the menu lighter because I want it to be easier to see. I can even use one of my section style colors as the menu color. And then on rollover, it can be whatever color you'd like. Now the menu bar right now is kind of the black with an opacity on it. You can make that lighter. You can make it fully black. I like it to be a little lighter. Okay, and now if we scroll down to the content, you can change your content font. Right now it's set to a very basic one, but you can change it. So now you can see all the content changes. The line height, you can increase. You can make everything uppercase, but you don't want to do that. The title fonts you can change, and the font size. Where it says decorate titles, this wouldn't be for every theme that we have, but this one does have these kind of decorations here. You can turn those off. Now here we already saw this, but again, this is where you would change your section style. Section style 1 is always the default, which is just your basic content area, and section style 2 is the one that you can add as a secondary option. This is where you would change all the different pieces of content and colors. Now with buttons, these are the buttons here. So anytime you have something like buy now or sign up for my mailing list or something, you can change those to square. You can change it to more of a pill shape. You can make it solid or outline. I like the solid one, it stands out. And then you have options for social networking buttons. The social network buttons are the ones on certain themes that are going to be the site-wide buttons. So let me go ahead and save this, just so all my changes are saved. Now, I do like this theme, but let's just say I got bored with it, or I had a new album release and I wanted to modify. Then I go ahead and click edit theme, and now I'm like, you know what, I think I want to spice it up. I want to try a new theme. I'll try this one called Billboard. So I like this one, so I'm going to continue with it. And now you'll see that everything stayed the same, except the sections just need to be styled again, because the particular theme has different colors already set in place. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is, you can go back to the section style and change it to whatever color you'd like. And so now this has the section style of blue, but everything else has stayed the same. Now you'll notice on this one has a call to action header. A call to action header is not on every theme, but this one does have it. You'll notice it by having the extra text and a button. So you can go down to call to action header. Now the heading color, you can change it, but I like it to be white. Subheading color is this right here. The border color and border width. So this adds a border around the box here. You can change the background color. So let's just say I wanted it to be gray, but I wanted to have a little opacity to it. Let's see what white would look like. So that makes that box stand out a little bit more. You can change the button color. Let's just make it bright. And you can also change the button hover. So let's just say I wanted to make it this blue. So now when I hover over it, it's going to turn blue. Now, another great thing about the call to action is that you can change the positions of it. You can left align, center, or make it to the right. I'm going to go ahead and send it to the left just because I like to show the piano guy over here. You can set it to the top. There's not going to be a lot of movement with this, but you can see that there's a little bit of a difference. Okay, so that's what you can do with the call to action header. Now, we'll go ahead and save that, and I'll show you really quickly what the call to action header actually does. Since I chose a new theme, it's asking me if I want to publish it, if I'm ready, and I'm just going to click the yes. You can, when you do these different variations, you can always get back to the theme that you had before. Like say I was like, oh, you know what, I really don't like this. You can click view themes, and then you can go back to My Themes. And then you'll see we have the original theme. And then this one is the one that we're working on right now. This is one from another webinar. So let's go back to edit content. And now when we go to the call to action, this is where you can edit it right here. Just click on it. And say I want to get people to buy it from my music page. So now you're going to see that this is going to update. Check out my album, get it now, buy now. And then when I click buy now, oops, actually I can't do that in here. I'm just going to go to the site so you guys can see how it works. When I click buy now, it takes me right to my music page where I can go ahead and buy it. So that is how our call to action header option works. Again, you can do different options. So you can link it to an external site. You can link it to another page on your site. You can even link it to a file. So say if you had like an ebook or a PDF, you can link it to that. You can send it to an email address. We don't really recommend that, but you can link it to an album or track. There's different things that you can link it to. So it really gives you a lot of different options. Let's see. I think I covered everything. Desi, were there any questions that anybody wanted me to go over? Because we do have a few more minutes left.
Yeah, let me find it. Okay, so here's a question. I'm a songwriter writing for 4 or 5 as yet unsigned artists. I also have a label set up. How can I best promote both my songwriting and the artists who perform them?
Awesome. Okay, so that's a really great question, and one that we get sometimes because we also have, for example, record labels. They have a similar question because they have the actual record label, and then they also have artists that are on their label. So as a singer-songwriter, what you'd want to do is you would want to, make the site about you as the actual brand, and then you can set up different pages for your different clients or your different people that you're trying to promote. You can even have sub pages. So let me go back to edit content, just so we can kind of flesh this out a little bit. So let's just say you wanted to add a page, which is another great thing that I can show you as well. We'll just start with a blank page. Let's just say, we'll just leave it the way it is. Artists I'm working with. Actually, you don't just want to put artists. Like I mentioned, you want to put a lot in the title. This could be a main page, and I want to publish it, so I want to create that page. So now you're going to see that there's an artists tab. Now, what you can do is you can list all the artists on this page, but then what you're going to want to do is add a page per artist. So we'll just go with a blank page and then artist A. You're going to get a sub page of artists. I'm just going to add a couple more. Okay, so let me let that load. And so now when I go to artists, actually let me go ahead and view the site so it's actually like the way it would be live. So this would be like on a live site. If I hover over artists, now you're going to see artist A, artist B, artist C. If I click, let's just say I want to check out artist B. I click artist B, and this is a page dedicated to artist B. And let's see. This is going to be our artist B. And so now when we go back to viewing the site as a regular viewer, let's just say, you know, we clicked on artist A, you know, it's not set up yet, but when we click artist B, now this has all their information on there. So you can definitely set it up the way you'd like to keep it more organized. If you don't have a lot of other menu items, like say if you just had a couple and you wanted to highlight the artist individually, you can make them main menus. Like if you just have, say, like 3 or 4 different people that you're working with, you can put that in the main menu. But this is a great way to keep it organized. So hopefully that answers your question. I think the key is to always keep your content you know, clean and well organized and really condensed. You don't want to put, you know, a bunch of text just all over all the pages because it can be really overwhelming to visitors. So you just want to keep it clean and simple. If it's, you know, if you're working with different people, you can, you know, have each of the artist pages kind of laid out the same way as well. So if there's, let's see, no other questions, I'm going to go ahead and come back to the screen. Hold on one second. I'm going to turn off the screen share. Okay, so we are back. Awesome. Okay, we do have just a couple minutes left. If you guys have any other questions, I'm happy to answer them or show you anything else on the building a website portion. Those are just different ways that you can change things on your site. As you can see, there's a lot of different options, and even within themes, there's different options, filters and things like that. So we do really recommend that you play around with the Edit Theme tab because you can really make it a little bit more custom and make it your own. I don't see any other questions. So again, we will have a replay of this webinar that's going to be sent out to you guys later this afternoon. So feel free to watch it again if you want to get more tips or if you missed anything. But other than that, we will be doing more of these webinars. So just stay tuned to your inbox for that. And then I guess that's it. So until next time, have a great day. Bye for now.